In early January of 2021, I'd heard of an upcoming queer-coded sports anime. I never really watch anime as they come out, episode by episode. I prefer to watch something all at once. But I gave this one a chance and I watched the first episode the day it was released. And I'm glad I did, because now it's sitting in my top 10. In the first episode of Skate the Infinity, we see a red-headed guy on a skateboard. Our main character, Reki, has his own monologue about the pursuit of happiness and gave us an amazing skateboard sequence. After a killer opening, let's go together, we see Reki showing up at S, an illegal skating track. When we see another character, Shadow, I had a feeling that this was going to be a typical, the small underdog going against the big beefy musclehead and shocking the crowd with amazing skills. But Reki lost. And this wouldn't be the only time Reki lost throughout the show. Skate the Infinity develops our main character by constant loss, not by constant winning that we see in many other shows. There are two things that can make or break an anime: characters or plot. Whilst Skate the Infinity sometimes has a lukewarm plot, the development and character dynamics makes up for that. Our main cast all have goals they're passionate about: women, money, success, and happiness. Many of these traits create a sense of relatability for watchers. You don't necessarily have to be a skater to relate to any of these characters. But the dynamic of Langa and Reki presents a dilemma I haven't seen discussed much. I'll be talking about two concepts presented in Skate the Infinity. The first being obsessed artists, and the second being queer representation. Rivalry in sports anime is important, but it's often with two characters who hate each other or seek to bring the other down. But the subtle rivalry between our main characters is rivalry between two friends. Imagine if you were the one who introduced someone to a skill you've been perfecting for years, but they become better than you. Of course you'll be happy that they're succeeding, but we as humans strive for community which can be shattered due to gaps in skills. Figuratively and literally, we see Reki fall behind everyone else around him, pushed away by a community he previously found belonging in. The happiness he once found in skating was being threatened. At first glance, Reki just seems like a loud and cocky high school kid, but Reki's obsessive, self-destructive nature is rooted in insecurity and a fear of being left behind. But he isn't our only obsessed artist in the show. Langa also displays a self-destructive, obsessive need to improve, but he improves in a short span of time. In a matter of months, Langa surpasses famous skaters like Maya, Cherry, and Joe. Langa's need to win starts to affect his relationship with Reki by breaking promises when his tunnel vision gets the better of him. Our third obsessed artist is the antagonist, Sk8 Shindo, aka Hisoka with blue hair. While I won't label Adam as the most well-written villain out there, to me he's the image of both Reki and Langa. Just like with Langa, we see Adam have an obsession to win and skill gap compared to others, but he contradicts himself by the need to belong and not be left behind, just like Reki. The mirroring of Adam to Reki and Langa can even be seen in the colours of his character design. In episode 8, we see Joe and Cherry talking about Adam skating alone and in the dark. This again mirrors Langa and Reki. After their fallout in the previous episode, Reki decides to isolate himself and Langa skates by himself, no longer for fun but for the purpose of winning. To me, Adam mirrors what either Reki or Langa could have become in their future had they not been surrounded by a good environment. In the awful year that 2021 was, the queer representation in Skate the Infinity was something good. The show displays what I like to call casually queer characters, where the focus is not on the characters being queer, but rather focusing on the characters in the relationship who just happen to be queer. Reki and Langa's relationship is a fresh and much needed view on gay relationships. Innocence, casualty, and no predatory behaviours we see gay men are often portrayed to have in other sorts of media. When we see the two touch, the focus is on being comfortable with each other rather than a sexual undertone. Reki and Langa are seen knowing each other like the back of their hands and building on each other's strengths. Physical symbolism of Reki and Langa's strong bond can be said to be the skateboard Reki makes for Langa. I think what many fans liked most about the show was that their relationship is somewhat canon. As a queer person myself, I was pleased to see healthy representation. But on the complete other end of the spectrum, we have the relationship of Adam and his assistant Tadashi. Just like Langa and Reki, they met through skating, where one taught the other how to skate, and the student surpasses the teacher. Adam let the winning get to his head, hurting those around him, and his abusiveness was fueled by his own family. Tadashi and Adam essentially reflect what Reki and Langa could have been, but didn't. While we're on the topic of the queer community, I'm sure you guys may have heard about this scene in the Skate the Infinity dub from TikTok. But if you haven't, here it is.
Hey bitches and bros and non-binary hoes!
Last year was an amazing year for anime. We had Jujutsu Kaisen, Doctor Stone Season 2, Attack on Titan Season 4. Many of my favourites came out last year, and Skate the Infinity is one of them. Sure, it can be a little dramatic at times, but the animation was phenomenal and the characters were well written. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.